Hi everybody, I wanted to jump on in here really quickly and talk about how Clive Davis and P. Diddy's sick, secretive lifestyle led to the Menendez brothers unaliving their parents. So we all know back in 2013, Clive Davis came out as a bisexual man.
That after my second marriage failed, because I had been 100% heterosexual up until that point, that I opened myself up after the failure of my second marriage, having read something about bisexuality. My story was different. I just found that I would open myself up to the possibility of a relationship based on the person and not on gender. And I did after seeing a man or a woman for about a 4 or 5 year period of time, interregnum, entered into a relationship with a man.
Now, a lot of people are calling Clive Davis a straight out liar. They said he did not tell the complete truth. According to the rumors, Clive Davis has been sleeping with men as far back as the beginning of his marriage. The rumors were Clive used his wife as a shield, or some would call it a beard, to cover up the fact that he was homosexual. The rumors are Clive had been sleeping with men as far back as the 1970s. Rumor has it, because he couldn't come out, because he thought that that would affect his career, that he created these parties that women were not invited to. Some would even say these were the first freak-offs. And just like Diddy's parties, Clive was accused of slipping things in people's drinks, then have his way with them. Then he would hold these parties and what happened at these parties over the victims' heads, guaranteeing them that no one would ever find out what had happened unless they betrayed him in any kind of way. In his eyes, it was the ultimate power move. And this went on for a long time until the board members caught wind of what was going on. Ultimately, Clive was fired and sued for alleged personal use of company funds. His contract is null and void. He has been depicted by CBS officers as a culprit found involved in hanky-panky. He has been fingered by a once loyal executive assistant as the man responsible for authorizing the practice of payola at Columbia Records. And payola is just a fancy word for you do what I say or you're going to regret it. So Clive is fired in 73. He goes on in 74 to open up his own company, Arista Records. And it's rumored his personality did not change, not one single bit. He continued with the payola behavior. Now, we all know that Clive Davis would go on to have a 5-year deep relationship with Sean P. Diddy Combs. Rumor has it, Clive was deeply in love with Diddy. They're saying whatever Diddy wanted, Clive would give it to him. In public, Diddy described Clive as his mentor, leaving out the fact that Diddy also started having these parties, these freak-off parties, only he upped the game by videotaping them. And it made it where if you wanted to be successful on Arista or Bad Boy Records, you had to go to the parties. So Jamie Foxx decided to host one himself, calling it Naked Basketball, where only men were invited.
You know, I would throw parties just so I could get into music. Like, I would throw parties for Puff, like Diddy back in the day.
So he'd bring music people in?
No, what it was, I said, Puff, come to my house. I had a studio at my house. And then when I would get music people over there, I said, leave some music in my studio because I was trying to get on.
Many say that Diddy and Clive's reign of terror began in the 90s until modern times.
Do you remember the first time we met?
I do. I remember it. This is totally impromptu.
Yes.
We were at Menendez Tavern.
That's correct.
And you were sitting with your parents at a nearby table.
Yeah. I was with my mom and my dad, and my mom goes, "Oh my God, that's Clive Davis." We play cool, man. We're in New York City, you know, we're at Menendez Tavern, a great restaurant. And she goes, I go, well, I got to go over and say hi to him. It's Clive Davis. So, I walked over to you, and you were with a group of people at your table. It was loud, and the music was on. People were talking, and I go, Clive, nice to meet you. I'm Jimmy Fallon. And you go, and so I thought you wanted me to kiss you on the cheek.
And now it's being reported this week that not only was Diddy's Clive's so-called protege, but so was Jose Menendez. Now, if you're not familiar with Jose Menendez, he's famous for his children unaliving him.
The Menendez brothers, Lyle and Eric. In 1989, their parents, Jose and Kitty Menendez, were murdered. It was a shocking crime scene that looked like a mob hit. Jose and Kitty were shot several times as they sat on their couch, eating ice cream and watching a movie. At first, Eric and Lyle were treated as victims, but when their therapist's ex-girlfriend came forward with information that the brothers had confessed during therapy sessions, everything changed. Eventually, the brothers were charged. At trial, they claimed to be the victims of sex abuse and violence. The first juries could not reach a unanimous verdict, and there was a mistrial. But when they were retried, they were convicted and sentenced to life without parole. But now there is new attention on the case, and some are calling for the Menendez brothers to get out.
They're saying that Jose Menendez was a protege of Clive Davis, and he's also responsible for touching the members of the uber mega group Menudo. And side note, Menudo's most famous member is Ricky Martin. That should let you know just how popular this group was. They're saying just like Diddy and Clive, they were with underage minors. And to verify that statement, a group member named Roy Rosello came forward.
José Menéndez me dijo, toma este vino, es un vino carísimo, y tómate toda la taza. Después que yo me la tomé, yo me comencé a sentir un cansancio, un peso. Yo no podía más moverme. Y después de eso, yo amanecí en el hotel. ¿Cómo yo llegué al hotel? Yo no sé. Y yo estuve una semana con un dolor terrible. Con un dolor que no podía más, no me podía ni mover. Yo me acuerdo que yo tenía que simular que yo no estaba con dolor, pero el dolor estaba tomando cuenta de mi vida.
Now, after discovering this new information, people are coming forward saying that the Menendez brothers should be free.
Okay, so what do you think about the Menendez brothers? I got a little story to tell. In 1996, Lyle sent me a letter. Basically said, I know you know. And I hoped we could connect. And, you know, he was right. I did know that they were innocent. I did know that those were boys who had been incested. And why I knew and how I knew, Lyle also knew. I didn't write him back because I felt afraid and I wasn't ready to touch the subject. And, you know, it was 1996. So now I see the new documentary where Roy Rosella from Menudo said that he too was sent by Jose Menendez and that he bled rectally afterward. You know, in 96, you know, in the late 80s, people weren't ready to accept the fact that boys too sometimes by their fathers. And as a culture, we ridiculed them. Jokes about them on Saturday Night Live, jokes from Jay Leno every night. Everyone thought this was a funny target. Two kids who had been molested since the age of preschool, fighting back and standing up, and people thought they just wanted the money.
Now, when I tell you guys everybody's talking about this case, I do mean everybody. Well, except one person, Clive Davis himself.
A lot of people are curious about the status of P. Diddy.
Status of what?
P. Diddy. Diddy.
Puppy. The status of puppy.
What do you make of that situation? All right. No comment from Clive Davis on P. Diddy. Mr. Davis, you're a major influence on the career of P. Diddy. Have you spoken to him since the federal raid?
Yes.
Have you spoken to Sean Combs? Any comment, Mr. Davis? Any comments about Diddy? He credits you as one of his mentors.
Now, according to the rumors, Clive Davis is scared shitless. They say he is fearful of what's going to come out about him during this Diddy trial. Now, some people are saying Clive Davis is 92 years old. Whatever happened has happened. He's an old man now. Let the good Lord deal with him. But some others like me, I feel he needs to be held accountable for the things that he has done, no matter what age. But that's just my opinion. Let me know your thoughts in the comments section. What should happen to Clive Davis now that he's 92 years old? And should the Menendez brothers be released? Until next time, bye for now.